What is next? What is next? Oh, hey guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the stream, welcome back to another video. If you're watching this on YouTube, well, what are we doing? We are still working on the BMPT Terminator by Meng, 1/35th scale infantry support vehicle, I think. Oh, sorry, Russian fire support combat vehicle. There you go. So, what are we on? We are on part 9, believe it or not. Part 9, and we're still not done building this thing. That's how much detail there is in this particular kit. Most detail I've had to put together in a kit, for sure. And you can look at a Gundam kit and you've got 10 or 12 freaking sprue trees full of parts, but this takes the cake. So where are we? What did we do last time? Last time we finished assembling the top of the turret and all the little bits and pieces involved with that. Got our hatches in, they are there and ready to go, and they move and they open and they close, and yes, very nice and tidy and neat. Very cool. Okay, we got that done, and then we finally started on the main gun, and I got the main gun assembled. As you can tell, I had a little bit of a gap along this back piece that I didn't like, so I filled that in with some of the Vallejo plastic putty. So I got that. That'll disappear when it's painted. Off camera, I did these photo etched pieces. I wound up having to go online and take a look at the Terminator tank main gun to see how these were supposed to be situated in there. And so I got that done. Now I did make a mistake. I wound up putting them on upside down. Okay, so these are like a piece of channel iron. Okay, they're shaped like a U. Okay, like this. They're shaped like that. Little channel just going like that. It's supposed to be like this. Okay, it's supposed to be shaped like that. I have it like that. Once I realized that the glue was already dried on the one side and it was starting to dry on the second one, and then I realized I put them upside down, and I decided I don't want to bother trying to break them off and redo it. It just wound up looking ugly, and when this thing's sitting on the shelf, I'm not going to notice that no one's going to notice that these are upside down. I'm not entering this in some kind of a modeling contest or anything like that, so they're upside down. It's such a tiny little part. Who cares? Who cares? It's upside down. Yippee. Okay? So that's where we left it. Now, what we did do was change out my glasses. Got to do that every time, right? Yeah, there we go. Bam! I can see things. So, we have our two boxes that go on each side, and they are already done. That's these guys here. But first I'm going to flip the page over. We have the two boxes that go on each side. So let's make sure I got these oriented right. This one goes on this side, or just drop it. This one goes here like this. Polycap on the inside of the hole. And so it's a nice little snug fit, and you can rotate it. Well, it's neat. It's actually got a stop there. There's actually a plastic stops to keep it from over cranking. I guess that's a term, over cranking. So it will only go that high. And then of course you can't shoot yourself in the face by lowering it too low. Okay, so there we go. Those two go together. And that's where we ended. So we need to continue. Now to continue, we have this piece here, G18 with a couple of M11s, which I have right here. It's just a little plate. And it's going to go underneath on the bottom here. Oh yeah, we've got a couple of slots here to mount this in. So what I can do is pull one of these off. That works. Do a little test fit. It's going to go right here. It's going to go just like that. And we'll do a little test fit on this one just to make sure. I don't need to worry about the hole being too small. It's kind of tight. It's a pretty tight fit. In fact, it doesn't want to go in this one at all. So what I'm going to try and do is I'm just going to shave this little tab down so it's kind of a taper. So it's kind of like this, and we'll help it to go in the hole. Let's make sure I go the right way. So I'm just going to shave this down just a little bit. I don't want to get rid of the tab altogether. I just want to shave it down a little bit. Give it a bit of a tapered edge. And see if that helps it fit. You're going to want to go in your hole now. Oh, it almost snaps in. It's very tight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue this side in first because of how tight it is. So the other side is being a little more friendly. So a bit of glue in there, just make sure on both sides. Okay, so now we'll put this in. Make sure I have this oriented right. Okay. Yeah, see, even with the glue, it's a very tight fit. It's very snug. So now I'm going to put this one on. Kind of line her up as it gets closer. There we go. So now they are lined up and together. So I want to try and make sure they're nice and straight. Everything's lining up. Because I don't want it crooked. I have some play. I could do it crooked, and I don't want to do that. I want it as straight as possible. And I think I've got it. Okay, so now I'm just going to add a little more glue along the side just to give it a little more strength so that it's being held by more than just those two little tabs. There we go. Okay. So with that done, do that, just let it sit. And now we have a couple of pieces here that I already have assembled. I've got them sitting in my lower hull here. So we have this guy, bingo, and we have a couple of canisters. So there's this guy here, and this guy here. Bam. So we have those guys pre-assembled for your pleasure. So those are done. Now we'll go to the next number, 33, attaching turret 1. So we need G14. G14 is this guy here. Here we go. So right off the bat, I want to apologize for my last video, YouTube detecting a song that was copyrighted, and I don't know why I just grabbed that. Detecting a song that was copyrighted, and I had to all but mute 2 minutes of my previous video at around the 40-minute mark, and that sucks and I hate that. So I removed that song from my playlist that I always play, and you guys may have noticed that I'm now playing my music a little bit quieter in the hopes that YouTube doesn't get mad at me, because I have things like you know, AC/DC Thunderstruck, but I have it in a piano version, which is actually playing right now. So it's a piano version of a song. There's no lyrics, there's no guitars or drums or anything. It's just a piano playing. And yet YouTube will say, hey, that's a copyright song, you gotta pay for that. Yeah, well, I did. I bought the album years ago, so screw off. But yeah, anyway, that's a fight I know I will never win. So how do they have this sitting? They have this sitting like this, and they want to take this little canister and with the hinge facing out, they want it going there. That's simple enough. Sure they're facing the right way. That's good. Go. One canister on, just like that. And then we have this guy. He's got to go on. They want him on the front. And they want this little plate lining up with little tabs right there. Just like that. Okay, perfect. So, let's throw some glue on there. There we go. Alright, so we got that on. And now we're going to flip it over and work on the top. On the top, we have this guy, and he's going to fit right here. We have a nice little step for him to sit on, just like that. So I will put some glue on him. There we go. Just like that. And we've got a couple of pieces to put on the front here. We have our canister that's going to go here. But we've got this K41 that's going to go in this little notch. So I'm going to put that on first. And I need K8 and 9. So we're going to grab the K tree again. K. Here's 8 and 9. So there's 8. And 9. And I need 41. This little guy here. Okay. He's got a nice little knob on him that doesn't need to be there. Go away. Now we'll clean these up a little bit. If you guys are hearing the air conditioner in the background, I apologize for that. But it is a nice warm 26 degrees outside. So which makes my room about 28 degrees without an air conditioner. And if you don't know what Celsius is, that's just too bad. I see Nico, are you sending me messages on Instagram? You should be watching me on Twitch. Although I appreciate the messages, Nico, thank you. Okay, so we're going to put this little hook on first. So I want to get my tweezers and I want to get it ready. And I probably could put it on by hand. It's just a little bit easier with the tweezers. So it's going to go right here. Now I can make it nice and straight. That looks pretty good. Yep, okay. The hook is on. Now we can go to our little canister. It's just got a couple little pegs that go in holes that are already there, so I'm going to err on the side of recklessness, and I'm not going to dry fit it. I'm just going to put it on and hope that the holes line up. I know I probably shouldn't do this. But I did anyway, and it fits. It's sitting nicely. I'm going to want to add a little more glue to it, but that's okay. Oh, but I got to do it last. I got to take this off. I'm going to have to do it again because I got to fit K8 in there. Which actually kind of sits behind this a little bit. So yeah, thanks for that warning. Not. This has to go in here, like that. And K9 does the same thing on the other side. Okay, so now we can put this back on. All right, so we're back on. I'm sure I don't have anything weird going on. And a little more glue to my hook that got moved a little bit while it was drying. So just to add some more there. Make sure these are on there good. All right. So that's done. So we can move on. And what are we moving on to? Well, we have the guided missile launcher system assembly. Okay, guided missiles launcher system assembly, and there are two of them. Those are the two missile launchers that are on each side of the turret, and that would be these guys. And I have two of them. Okay, so what I didn't show you on camera was how these get assembled, so I'll just kind of describe to you what is entailed. Each tube has two halves, so you put the two halves together, and then you have a cap on each end. Okay. Then on the sides of each tube, you have this piece right here that goes along. Okay, and it goes on the side. Then you get your photo etched parts, which not necessary, but you're seeing them there flashing around with little gold pieces. These guys, they started out as little flat pieces, and you have to bend them at a 45 and then a 90, and you do that on each side. Okay, and then you glue them on these two spots here and here. Okay, I'm going to change cameras. I'm going to put this one on our big screen, just so you can see a little bit better. So you can see these little gold pieces here. Okay, so you have to bend them around, and they actually go around these little pieces here and here on all four of your barrels. Okay, so those go on. Then you take your barrels and you glue them to a base. Okay, and that base has some tubing that goes through it and attaches to the barrels, one here and one here. Okay, then you have a little rubber tube. That's this guy here. If I move him out of the way so you can see this little rubber tube. This guy just glues on in that little spot. So I use CA glue to glue him there, just so that he's going to be nice and firm and he's going to hold. I don't know where that other end of the tube is going to go, but we're going to find that out when we actually put it together. And so that's that. So these guys have already been assembled. These guys are done. That takes care of number 35, and that's all just this part here. Okay? And so that's that. So we can move on to number 36. And number 36, we've got a few parts that go on the top still, which I already have assembled. Pretty sure I did. Yeah. So this guy here, don't know what it is, but it's some kind of a, I guess it's a light system, spotlight maybe. Got that assembled. And then we've got K7, which is the antenna, which I'm not putting no antenna on this thing till it's done, because this thing's long. K7. That's this thing right here. That's got to be 3.5 inches long. That's going to be sticking up from this thing. You know how easily I'm just going to go doink and it'll be broken? No thank you. I'm not going to do that. No thank you. So we've got their little spotlight system. We've got to get G12 and put that on, and I don't want it glued. So where's my G tree? There it is. G12, this guy right here. Looks like he's the last one off the G tree. Last one off the G tree. That's it. G for garbage. Okay, so let's clean this up. Give a shout out to you guys again. You guys who comment on my YouTube videos, just the positive comments I get are so great, so fantastic. With the exception of my A10 Warthog build, yeah, I can understand why the comments on those videos are not that great. Not so positive on those, and that makes sense, and that's fine. And those ones, well, I kind of did a few things there that just out of having a bit of playful fun. Okay, so this guy goes, I guess he goes here and just snaps on. want to put too much pressure on it. I want to make sure it's lined up. So if it is a snap-on type hinge, there we go. Let's get this other side on. Ah, there we go. Okay, so it's got some movement. It's got some movement there. Oh, it closes right up. It's interesting. I guess that's its maximum there. Okay, anyway, so that's done. Flip over back to the top, and we got to find the spot for our light. And it is going to go, I actually want to face it that way, and into this little notch. Let's see if I can get it in the light. There we go. So there's a little hole in the back here that it looks like it's supposed to sit in. But the hole doesn't look like it is cut out properly. So that looks a little bit better. Okay. Now let's see. Should go in the hole. No, not really. I think it's just meant to tuck down in where it sits. So I have 2 points of contact where it's going to touch, so that's good. This spot here, a little bit on the bottom, and the side of this. Just a matter of lining it up, making sure it's straight. And that works for me. Still a possibility of this thing getting broken off, but that's okay. I don't actually have 2 points of contact, I only have 1. It's a little disappointing that this isn't actually going in the hole, and I just pulled it off by mistake. It's a little bit, it's actually hitting this thing here. Now that I have it lined up properly, it's hitting right where the stop is, just before the stop. That's okay. This is in its spot where it belongs, and that's where it is. It's lined up, and it's good. We're good. Okay. Now we have our actual missile launchers to go on. And so how do they go on? They're showing us actually attaching this to the turret. Now, finally, our system goes on. So how are we lining this up? We have this front edge sticking down to go into this slot. And it's going to go like that. It fits in there nice. It's a good fit, just like Doink. And our little flap here, it's supposed to come down. like that. What the purpose of it is, I don't know. So I'm tempted to leave it off just for the purpose of being able to more easily paint, but I don't think it's really going to interfere much. So I think gluing it down will be fine and won't be an issue. So we're going to glue it down. Getting glued down. Okay, so just hold it here for a minute until the glue is set. Meanwhile, take a look at what's next here. So we have these little points, one on each side, and that's where our missile launchers are going. There is a left and a right, definitely. We want the little rubber hoses facing down. And it looks like the hose is supposed to go in this little hole on the side here. They don't, but they do show it, and I am correct. So we put the hose into the little hole, and we run the actual missile launcher right into there. And of course, we're not gluing it. Now I would like to maybe glue the hose into the hole. The hose kind of goes, well, depending on how you have this oriented, because you can rotate it. I'd still like the hose. I'd like to put the hose in the hole. It's just hard to see. If I put a little dab of crazy glue on the hose and then position this and just until it's where it needs to be, then the hose will almost be lined up exactly where the hole is. Alternatively, I put a dab of crazy glue on the hole and then eventually get the hose lined up. But it's just almost there, but almost not. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave it for now. I'm going to leave it until maybe it's all done painted. This one goes on here, this side, just like that. And so we have our turret top finished. Finally, I know, right? These sides are a little bit flaky, so So there we have it. So these turn are actual missile launchers. They move up and down, and our main gun moves up that far and moves to just a little lower than level. And that's that. Okay, so let's look at what's next. I think the next part is like, what do they call it? I think they call it the mine sweeping attachment, something like that. Let's see. This is now equipment positions. So we can, they're giving me the option of either having the mine sweeping cleaning, or they call it mine cleaning system, and I can have it without it. I can have it in the extended position, and I can have it in the retracted position. So as you might be able to see, I have a couple of highlighted things because I have chosen to put the mine cleaning system on the tank, but it's going to be in the retracted position. Okay, so the difference is I don't know if you can tell on the camera in the pictures, the mine cleaning system is like these little forks that stick out on the front, and when they're retracted, they're all tucked in. So I want to have them on there because I think that's a cool feature, but I don't want to have them sticking out. I'm going to have them retracted. And so they give me options as we assemble the parts for it in either the retracted or the extended position as I display it opposite of what I'm actually saying. It's retracted, it's extended. No. So it's basically the same parts, it's just they're going to be assembled either like, you know, like little rods are like this or they're like this, that kind of a thing. So that's basically what's next in this little build of ours here, which means we are done with our turret for now. At least for now, we're done with our turret. Okay, so it gets to be put aside just like our upper hull. I can actually probably put it on the upper hull. Let's see how it's going to look. Oh, that's cool. It fits down inside there. That's a tight fit, actually. It's interfering with our little guard back here. I've got the tabs lined up. I'm almost there. I just don't want to push down too hard. I think I'm there. Can I rotate? Oh man, that's tight. I'm in. I've got it in the tabs. I'm in there. But it's a super tight fit. So I definitely have some adjusting to do because I can't even, just barely rotate it. I could grab it from the inner ring, kind of do that. There we go. We're on. We're there. But yeah, that is a super tight fit. And yeah, I kind of, you can hear that. It's kind of hitting my little guard fence. I could just put a little bit, like some lithium grease or something on there and make it a little smoother. Could also, yeah, because it's so tight, I'm actually hitting something here. Oh, there we go. It's super, super tight. So I'm going to take it off. Get our tabs lined up again. Just push up from the bottom. There we go. So yeah, we got some super tightness. I think it's hitting this little edge right here in a couple of spots as it's trying to rotate. So if I shave that down, sand that down a little bit so it's a little more, it doesn't stick out. I don't know if you can see on the camera, this is just sticking out a little bit right here. So if I just take my sanding stick and just sand that down a little bit, that might work a little better. It might be, just might smooth it out. Nothing I can do around here. This is just part of the mold. But what I could do, maybe, I could try sanding this edge a little bit to make it a little bit thinner, so that if that's thinner, then this tab, or these tabs, won't be so tight. Another thing I could do with these tabs is I could kind of bend them out a little bit so they sit down, so a little further down and not quite so tight against the underneath. That's another option. As far as anything else I could do on this, it's resting on this lip, and this is smooth. There's nothing wrong with this. So there's nothing to do there. So, yeah, there's not a lot I can do to loosen it up. I definitely want to trim that off, and maybe just take some sandpaper to this and just smoothen it out a little bit better, make it just a little hair, fraction of half a millimeter thinner maybe. That might do it, because it is kind of thick. Yeah, but I'll worry about that later. So you can let this sit, just kind of plop it down there so it's out of the way. And so what are we looking at here? We need a bunch of P parts. I gotta get my P parts. P. Looks like P might be the first thing I haven't taken anything off of. Oh, there's Q too. Haven't touched Q. And there's my P. Gotta mind your P's and Q's, right? So, even though it's not calling for, Q is right here, doink. This is, Q is the electromagnetic countermine system assembly. How about that? But first I go to P. And we've got little markings here. So if we're going to do option 2 or option 3, right? And I'm choosing option 3 on these. So I need P20 and P19. I kind of want to do this off camera because there's so much to assemble on these, and it's a pain in the ass. So that's what I'm going to do. How long has it been anyway? It's already been 45 minutes. 45 minutes to do what? Practically nothing, right? So, what I'm going to do, I'm going to end it here. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end it here. This is going to be the end of part 9. And what I'm going to do in between now and part 10 is get these assembled. Okay? I'm going to get all these 40 parts assembled here. Okay. And then next time is going to be putting these parts on the tank. And finally starting to paint it. Because the next page is merely putting it together and you're done. This is the last thing to do, okay? Is building this guy. So what I want to do is I'm going to do this off camera and just spend the rest of the day putting this together. And then tomorrow we can finally get into painting this thing. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay down a coat of Mr. Surfacer Black. This guy. That's going to be my base coat on this guy. Okay. I'm going to lay this down first. That's going to be my first coat of paint on this tank. Okay. And then we'll go from there. This thing calls out for a couple of colors for the actual painting scheme that I want to do. It's nice that they give me color pictures in the manual, and they call out the actual Vallejo colors. 71-009, 017, 057, and 922. Okay, perfect. That's freaking awesome. But what I don't like is the color doesn't match what they're showing in the book. You see, like even on the camera, on this camera here, okay, this one right here, this looks like a nice desert tan color. You know what color that is? That's duck egg green. And that happens to be, get ready for it, this. Does that look the same at all? Not at all. And that's what bugs me about that. Is I go to the store to buy this color and holy crap, this is green. This isn't like desert tan color. But whatever. That's the color they want. So they want that color. They want -017, which is Russian green. That's this guy here. Russian green. And they want black, which is nothing special, black. And then they want uniform green. And uniform green is your standard. They don't even make it in the Model Air color. It's just a standard Vallejo model color. Just regular lighter green. So there's my three colors plus black. There's my colors that this thing's going to be. Now what's kind of difficult to determine is, yes, I can see very easily this is the light green. This is obviously the Russian green, this darker color. And there are a couple of black patches, so that's pretty obvious. Those are black spots. But then we have this green. And I can't see where this green goes except on the front of the tank on that mine cleaning system. That's the only green I can see that might be this color. So that's that. So other than that, it's these two plus black. So here's our three camouflage colors plus this guy for the minesweeper. And there we have it. Ta-da-da-da-da. And they're showing some red parts for, it looks like the lights, it looks like the caps of some sort for the missile launchers. I have seen pictures where the red is, it's got red caps on the front of them, and other pictures where they're not, they're just black. So I'm going to go with black because the red looks kind of weird. And that's about it. So there's my color scheme. Boom. So basically, tomorrow's video is going to be about painting this thing, airbrushing. Always fun because I'm still new to airbrushing, and so getting my mixtures like what do you call it? Like the paint to thinner ratio and my air pressure, still a little bit of a iffy thing for me. I'm still working out the kinks for that. Obviously, you saw in my last video I was getting a bunch of spattering because and I found out later it was because my paint was too thick, and because it was thick I had too low of air pressure. So I needed to up my air pressure or add more thinner is what I needed to do. But anyway, learn as you go, right? So that's going to be it. I think what I'm going to do, because of the pattern for the camouflage, I might be using my my goopy putty stuff as guidelines to do the camouflage. The pattern itself, I might do that, I might not. I might just wing it and do it with just freehand. That would definitely be faster, but I don't know yet. But we'll see. But like I said, I'm going to end it here. That's it for now, guys. I'm going to get this mine cleaning system assembled and ready for paint tomorrow. And yeah, we'll leave it at that. So I want to thank you guys for watching. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for the chat that didn't happen because you guys are all lurkers. You know what? That's fine. But anyway, what would be really great is if you hit that like button down in the middle there, and because that helps out with the whole YouTube algorithm things of my video coming up and stuff like that for people to watch, and that would really help me out a lot. Please do that. Please hit the like button. Hit that like button. It's right there. It doesn't hurt anybody. Just hit the like button. You can also subscribe down over here too if you feel like it, and that would be really cool too. And then you can head on over to my Twitch down in the description box below. I'll put links to my my Twitch and my Instagram and my Twitter, blah 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 blah, all my social links, you know, and all that stuff. On Instagram, I upload all my pictures for stuff that I build, and yeah, if you go on my Twitch, you can watch me live, and you can talk to me if you feel like it too. While I'm doing it, say, hey, don't do that. That's the wrong color. That's too much glue, or that's the wrong glue, or whatever you feel like. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Anyway, so yeah, I'm gonna leave it there for now, and yeah, so that's part. Yeah, that's part 9. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you all in the next one.